question is the flesh part or the body of Jesus part of God or part of the Trinity?
Yes, because God laid aside his majesty in order to take on
So
people
it was
flesh.
part of God, yes?
Yeah, I'm going to say yes.
Okay, so if it is yes, then you have
It's
to
both.
wait. How do you then correlate that with Jesus being God and immortal? Because God doesn't die.
Like I said 100 times now, he didn't cease to exist when Jesus died.
When did I say
he
immortal
did not
means cease to exist?
Because you are forcing it into this one definition of immortal.
Do you know what
When
immortal
the
means?
context
Seriously,
means
do you know what immortal
eternal.
means?
But
Okay.
if you look at the rest of Paul's
I'm telling you, the word
writings,
immortal
rest of
doesn't mean
Paul's
cease to
writings,
exist.
you look at
So
the rest
why
of
are you
Paul's
saying it
writings,
means that?
and you
tell
look
me
at
what
the
that word
Gospels,
is
and
in
it
the
says
original
Jesus
Greek?
What is
is
that?
eternal. Jesus has pre-existence.
Can you tell
So
me
you are forcing the most simplistic definition
No, I'm not.
of
Actually,
immortal.
the reason you're being
in order to make your case,
disingenuous
which
here
goes
because you
against
know
the rest of
that you
Scripture,
cannot,
which goes
you
against the rest
cannot
of Scripture. This is something
actually-
else that Paul wrote.
you cannot harmonize the fact that Jesus is mortal and God. You
No,
cannot
let's wait a
harmonize
minute. You're saying Paul only thinks Jesus is mortal. No, he does not. Let's look at Philippians 2 again.
Okay, go on, read it.
Jesus, who being in the very nature God, the same as God, did not consider equality with God something to
What
be
does it
used
mean,
to his
very
own
nature
advantage.
God?
I haven't finished.
Okay, go
Rather, he made himself nothing, taking the very nature of a servant, being made in human likeness, and being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself, becoming obedient to death, even death on a cross. That was part of God's original plan, that he would come as a human nature to die. Why did he want to do that? For you and me. This is the whole point you're missing.
Okay, now you're
you
preaching.
are missing
You're
out on
preaching
the
now,
point.
you're preaching.
I don't have a problem with preaching because this is the best news.
But this is not the church, I'm sorry.
God
This is Speaker's Corner. So you need to have a dialogue
Do you
in the
believe
sense
also
that...
the same
No, wait,
Paul-
can I
I'm
respond to
finished.
that?
No, I'm finished. You said-
She's going to another
you
verse
said
and she's saying I haven't
Paul
finished.
who wrote Paul who wrote to Timothy. Paul who wrote to Timothy.
Yes, I know. I want to hear, but she went on to the verse.
I haven't finished. No, let me finish. This is Paul who
preaching
writes
again.
Colossians as well. The
And this is-
Son is the image of the invisible God. The
so was
firstborn
Adam.
over all creation.
So was Adam.
For in him
Was
all
Adam the
things
image
were
of God?
created, things
In
heaven
Genesis,
and earth,
he's the image of
visible
God.
and invisible,
Made in the image
whether
of God,
thrones
since
or
he
powers
is
or rulers or authorities.
No,
He
image
is
of
before
God
all
just
things,
mean-
and in
it
him
doesn't
all
mean
things
you're God.
hang together.
If you believe
So
image of
cannot
God
take
actually
this
means
verse
God,
out
then
of
you should believe
context
Adam is God.
to say that Paul somehow meant that Jesus wasn't eternal. Okay, that's just ridiculous.
That's
Are
what
you
the
going to
verse
let us
says.
respond to that?
Yes. you
Okay.
can Respond.
Yeah.
Respond to
When he
Philippians.
says Philippians, in the
And then
very...
after this, I'd like to ask you about Allah. I'd like to ask you about
Fine
Allah's
enough, we have
nature.
no problem.
You can tell me
We
about
have no
Allah's
problem.
nature.
Yes, we'll tell you about
Okay.
Allah's nature, who never died, who was never killed by his creation.
What is Allah?
No, let's
Tell
finish
me
this.
what Allah is. Yes, you respond.
Allah is
to
the
me.
God of Jesus, but I'll come to that.
Subhanallah.
What he says over there in Philippians, in the very nature God, but not God. What do you mean by? What do you understand by that? This is contradictory. In the very nature of God, but not God. What do you mean? You're either God or you're not God.
No,
Make
you're
up your mind.
misreading the scripture, sir.
Okay, so
You're
read it again. Go on.
Who being in very nature God did not consider equality with God.
Why is that? If he was in the nature God, why did he not consider equality with God?
Because he needed to lay aside his majesty in order to come and make himself known to us.
So when you lay aside your majesty, are you still fully God?
You are still fully God.
So what is the point of having all that honor, majesty, all that attributes of God if you're going to lay aside and still
Do
be
you
the
know
same?
why? Do you know why? Because he needs to be able to relate to us. If he kept his majesty, as you Muslims believe that he's so other, if he kept that, we could never relate to him properly. But instead he lays aside his majesty in order to have relationship with us.
You know why it's
But
nonsensical?
then he's not God.
Do you know why that statement doesn't make any sense to any human being, including you, me, and you? If God is all knowledgeable, what do you understand by all knowledgeable? Can you lay aside if you're all knowledgeable? You're knowledgeable. All knowledgeable means you know the past, the present, and the future. You know the future already.
Oh, so you can't
Let him
do
finish.
stuff.
Lizzie, let him
You
finish.
can't do stuff.
Lizzie,
You
let him
can't lay
finish.
aside things. Why is that?
Let him finish.
Then he cannot be omnipotent, can he?
Then don't tell us
So
we
that
intro.
doesn't make sense to
Lizzie,
me.
try to understand and perhaps you'll know what I'm talking
Try to
about.
listen as well.
If God, we say, is all knowledgeable, He knows the past, present, and future. It means He knows everything. Nothing is hidden from His knowledge. He knows the past as well as He knows the future. So even the future hasn't happened for us, He knows it. For example, does He know what's going to happen in 2017? He knows it. Now, Lizzie seems to believe, like the scripture writers in the New Testament, that God, who is all knowledgeable, lays aside His majesty, His attributes, His knowledge.
Do you believe God is all
Can
powerful?
we do 2 minutes? Can we do one minute, please?
I'm not speaking to you, Lizzie. I'm speaking to you, lady. Yeah? You can do 2 minutes to someone else. So you have God who is laying aside His knowledge and becoming what? Less than knowledgeable. Because when you lay aside His knowledge and become ignorant, it means you're not going to remain 100% knowledgeable.
You want to talk over here?
But you know it already. So if you know what's going to happen in 2017, you cannot lay aside your knowledge and say, I don't know what's going to happen. Because you know that already. So if Jesus was God to begin with, he knows the future. He cannot then say, I have laid aside my knowledge, I don't know what's going to happen in 2017. Because he knew it already. There's an option though, unless he forgets. Do you believe God is all-knowledgeable and forgetful? Or all-knowledgeable means he never forgets? He should never forget. So if you are all-knowledgeable to begin with, you will always remain all-knowledgeable. You can never lay aside your knowledge and become ignorant.
Doesn't that limit God?
We limit God by his attributes. If we say God is everlasting with no end, we limit what? We say he can never cease to exist. He can never be dead. Or he can never be totally non-existent. Because he is always going to be in existence.
So are you saying that God is all powerful, yeah? But if God
Let's
is all
understand.
powerful, how can God choose to become a man?
Let's understand a few things at a time. There's a difference between essential attributes and attributes where you can exercise your will upon. For example, God's love. Do you believe God is all love? Can he become less than all love if he wanted to lay aside his love?
Probably if he chose.
Then he wasn't all loving in the first place. If you affirm at one hand, he's ever loving all the time, you have to reject that he can be less than all loving certain times. You have to reject that. Because these attributes are contradictory. If he is always loving, then he cannot be sometimes not loving.
He's never not loving.
Right. So can he be not loving sometimes if he is all loving? Can he lay aside his love and say, I can be very much not
I
loving?
believe God can do anything, but he doesn't want
Let's
to.
understand about what can do. There's a difference between actions of God and his essence, what he is. Yeah? If God is loving always, you affirm that he can never be less than love always, at any time, right? Do you follow? If God is always going to live, can he become non-existent for 20 minutes? Can he? Yeah, so you have to reject the opposite. So can God lay aside his life, which is to live forever, eternally, yeah, and become non-existent for certain times? Cannot do that. You cannot lay aside these essential attributes of God. That's why we say, when we say God can do, as Muslims we say God has power over all things. We have our definitions, our statements correct. There's nothing that can overcome God. God has power to do all the things that he wants to do. God is not going to cease to exist because what? Because he is the ever-living.
I never claim that God's going to cease to.
Right. Is God all-knowledgeable? Yes, he is all-knowledgeable. Then he can never become ignorant. So this is the verse that my brother talked about earlier on. He doesn't know the hour, only the Father knows. If someone claims doesn't know the hour, let's say I claim that I don't know the hour. Could I be all-knowledgeable in the past? But I don't know now.
So the Father knows. The Father's
No.
not God.
Me. If I told you now, I do not know the hour.
Of course not, you're a man.
If I said I do not know, could I be, is it possible that I may have been all-knowledgeable in the past?
No, because you're a human.
If a being says, I do not know something now, is it possible they were all-knowledgeable to begin with? Impossible. Because if you're all-knowledgeable to begin with, you will always remain all-knowledgeable. You can never become ignorant and say, I don't know.
Yeah, but God wasn't ignorant
Wait,
because
Jesus.
he said the Father knows.
Jesus.
But he said the Father knows.
Let's understand
They're
that.
both God.
We have no problem with the Father.
No Muslims will dispute the Father of, in the New Testament where it says the Father, God the Father, is God, actual God, the real God, the true God. We do not dispute this. But when we're disputing the person of Jesus Christ as you believe, if Jesus says, I do not know, then you are affirming that he could not be all-knowledgeable. And if he was not all-knowledgeable, he could not be God to begin with.
Because God doesn't change his
Do you
nature.
follow? Because if you don't know now, you could not have been all-knowledgeable in the past to begin with. So when Jesus says, I don't know, you could not have been
I
God.
don't want to argue till the cows come home.
It's not what
I can't stay here forever. And I can see that this is just an academic, logical argument.
Excuse me. Did you understand what I said?
No.
You didn't. What part is not understandable? What part is not clear? Which part? That you didn't understand.
I don't get your logic. I'm sorry.
So, if God is unknowledgeable to begin with, do you assume that he can be ignorant later?
There are three aspects of God. God the Father,
your
God the
red
Son, and
colour,
God
I
the
think,
Holy
is-
Spirit. God
Let's
the
talk
Son
about
may
the
not
Father.
know, but God the Father.
Let's talk about the Father.
Oh, you pray for me? Okay, Jazakallah.
May Allah guide us all.
That's a good example of someone going on the truth.
You see,